Listening to popular Christmas songs or watching any of the holiday movies on television, we are quickly reminded that there is no place like home for the holidays. And most of us can relate to that. We long to gather in familiar places, surrounded by those we love. Oh, we are pleased to visit other people and places, seeing how Christmas is celebrated in different communities and cultures, but nothing matches the warmth of sitting at the family table, eating familiar food, and sharing stories that have been told at least 100 times before. Maybe that will be your experience this year. You may gather at the home of your parents or grandparents, or they may come to you. You may look again at the homemade or store-bought ornaments that your family has collected over the last 20 or 50 or 75 years. On this tree, I have my own collection of ornaments. Some ceramic ornaments made by my father, some craft projects from my childhood, and some ornaments from my very first tree as an adult living on my own in an apartment in downtown St. Louis. Over the course of my life, I have called 15 different places home. Some of those places were apartments that I knew would be temporary. Others were homes that I had purchased, expecting that they would be permanent. As I discerned a vocation to priesthood, I understood that moving was part of the job. So I have called 5 rectories and now a bishop's residence home. Many of the ornaments that I have collected remind me of those homes, and especially of the family members and friends and parishioners who have passed through my life, some of whom I may now see every once in a while, others, like my parents, whom I hope to see again in the glory of heaven. It seems ironic that the Christmas season has become so associated with home. After all, we hear again the gospel accounts of the birth of Christ. We are reminded that Mary and Joseph spent that first Christmas away from home in the city of David, which was crowded due to a census throughout the Roman Empire. That town, Bethlehem in Hebrew, literally means house of bread. Finding no room with friends, relatives, or in a hotel or inn, Mary and Joseph were left sleeping in a stable or a cave or some other place where animals were kept. That stable was far from comfortable or familiar, but in the midst of the poverty and simplicity of the setting, a child was born to us. A son was given to us. He is the light shining in the darkness, the one called Wonder Counselor, God Hero, Father forever, and Prince of Peace. The only begotten Son of God had left the comfort of heaven to make his dwelling among us, to take on human flesh, to be our Savior in the most humble of circumstances. The Savior of the world, Jesus, first laid his head on the rough straw of a manger, on an animal's feeding trough. The one who would identify himself as the bread of life would be laid to rest in a feeding trough in the city of David, the Lord's anointed king, in a town called the House of Bread. You may be in the city or town where you grew up this Christmas, or you may be hundreds or thousands of miles away. Wherever you are this Christmas, at home or away, in a familiar surrounding, or in some place new and different, you have a home with the newborn Savior of the world, with the Holy Family, and especially at the family table, the altar of God, in any of the Catholic churches in the Diocese of Alexandria or throughout the world. Come to Mass this Christmas and receive Jesus, the babe of Bethlehem, the bread of life. Welcome him into your life. Make a home for him in the manger of your heart.